Rachel, I've got this lovely picture here my daughter's drawn of Nana's dog. I really want to turn it into a keepsake. I thought it'd make a nice gift.
Yes.
So I'm thinking embroidery would be really nice.
Yeah. So what we can do, we've attached it onto this scan frame with these magnets. So if I attach it onto the machine, we can actually scan the frame, and it will take a picture of the dog, and then that will convert onto the machine, and it will translate it into stitches. And then we can stitch this exact picture out onto whatever you want to do.
That's fantastic.
So I'll attach this on here, okay.
Because before, I would have transferred that onto fabric with an embroidery marker.
Yeah.
And then I would have hand embroidered it.
Yes.
So this is changing it into a machine embroidery for me.
It is, yes, but you've still got that personal element of it because it's your child's drawing. Exactly, yeah. So it's got that nice free motion of your pen, because sometimes when you're using the machine you can get very free motion, but with a pen it's very natural.
Yes.
And you're getting the exact kind of finish that you would get with a drawing.
And you can add text, presumably. I thought it would be nice to put the dog's name underneath. Might be a nice touch.
Yeah. So you can add in text afterwards with the built-in fonts on a machine like this.
Right.
Or you can write your own name on the picture itself as well. So that gives, again, another personal finish. So again, with like quilts and things, you can put your signature on the bottom, that kind of thing. So you can really personalise your own projects.
That's really nice.
Yeah, it's really effective.
Oh, there he is on the screen as well.
There he is there. So there's our little dog. Okay, so we've scanned the dog and we've also added in some text there as well.
Okay. I've got a hoop of linen that I've got ready for us. Okay. So I've put some stabiliser underneath. I've just used a stitch and tear.
Yes, yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a very good general stabiliser. There's so many different types of stabiliser for different purposes, but a standard stitch and tear is a good one to start with, definitely.
Brilliant.
Okay, so I'll pop the hoop in there, okay, and then away we go.
Rachel, so I've got Archie all embroidered.
Yes, very good.
And what we've done is we've taken away any of the excess stabiliser and I've trimmed that one up to size, ready for the cushion front.
Lovely.
So that's the front done.
Brilliant.
And I've prepared a couple of panels for the back. Now, I thought envelope closure, nice and simple and straightforward.
Perfect, yep.
So I've pressed one of the raw edges over by 1/2 inch and then 1/2 inch again.
Yep.
And we're going to top stitch that one.
Lovely, I'll do that one. So what I'm going to do, I've put the needle position over to the left-hand side so that I can use the left-hand side of the foot as a bit of a guide along the edge here, along the folded edge. And I've set the machine to do a lock stitch at the beginning, so it secures the stitch off.
That's good. I'd normally do a reverse stitch.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get a bit of bulk there with those.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. There's a couple of stitches you can choose on a machine like this, so you can decide what kind of finish you want when it's locking the stitching off.
It's fantastic.
There we go.
It's really quick, isn't it?
It is, yes. Okay, so I'll just lock that one off. Okay, and a machine like this also cuts the thread and lifts the foot all in one motion as well for you, which is very handy.
That's nice.
Okay, and we also we lengthen the stitch length as well. So because it's a top stitch, it shows up slightly more if it's a longer stitch. So we just lengthened it to 3mm.
Yeah. That's definitely something I always do. I think if you've got some visible stitching on a finished item, it's nicer if it's more defined.
Definitely.
It gives a better finish.
Yeah.
And I notice you adjust the speeds there.
Yes.
I think that's great because you need to be able to take your time. When you're stitching a line like this, you want it to run parallel.
Definitely, exactly. And you can adjust the speed so you can take it nice and slowly, especially for beginners, it's perfect. So.
Okay, so that's our finished backing panels.
Lovely.
All we need to do is assemble the cushion.
Great. Yep.
So that's the backing finished. I'm going to get the front back.
Lovely.
And place them together, ready to assemble. So I always approach this thinking right sides together.
Yes.
Right sides together.
Definitely. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to place that top stitching down on there.
Yep.
And align the raw edges.
Yeah.
Do you want to pass me the pins?
Yeah, no
and I'll
problem.
put some pins in. So I've done the same with the second backing panel, made sure the top stitching's in the middle and the right side of the stitching's facing the right side of the cushion.
Perfect.
So I'll pop a few pins in here. I think perhaps we should turn our stitch length back down.
Yes, definitely, yeah. So if I bring that down to 2.5, because we're assembling it, we want the stitching to be as strong as it can be. So it's better with a standard stitch length. So I've done that on the machine.
And I think because we're working with linen, a 1/2 inch seam allowance would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Because then we don't have to worry too much about fraying.
Yeah, no problem. So I'll leave the needle position over to the left.
Okay.
And then I can use the markings on the machine to guide myself. Okay.
So it doesn't really matter where we start, does it? Because
Doesn't
we're going to go
matter,
the whole way round, aren't we?
I find it better sometimes to start in the middle on a straight line.
Yes.
So you've got a nice straight bit to start with.
I think that too. And I sometimes, these are a bit more strengthened then. If you start there and you've got your locking stitch there.
Exactly, yeah. So I'll still use that locking stitch. It's still set on the machine. So away we go. Okay, like we did before, take it nice and steady. If you're new to sewing and you have a speed limitator on your machine, then make use of that because it's a great feature to have. Okay, and then when you get to the corners, just stop so you can pivot around. This machine has a pivoting function on there.
Yeah. So leaving the needle in.
A couple more stitches
and it's
there. Exactly, yeah. So you get a really nice, neat corner then.
Yes.
Okay, and then we can carry on.
Sometimes, if I'm unsure of my seam allowance, I mark the needle plate with a bit of masking tape or washi tape.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah,
definitely.
because it really gives you a visual guide,
Yeah.
so you can see where you're, aiming for. You run that edge up along the side of that.
Because sometimes the markings can be a little bit tricky to see sometimes. Okay, and now what I did before, go right up to the corner, leaving enough space at the edge, and turn that round. We've got a nice, neat corner.
So we're just going to carry on going all the way around until we got back to where we started. Yeah.
Okay, so now we've sewn around and constructed our cushion all together.
Yeah.
Just want to neaten off this raw edge so we've not got all these frayed edges that could possibly come away once it's been washed or anything like that. So I've selected a zigzag on the machine, and I'm just going to line it where my needle is against the edge of the fabric so it can wrap around the edge.
Right, so your needle's going off and then on and then off, then on.
Yeah, only very slightly off. You don't want it to go sort of too far.
No.
But it just makes it sort of catch all of those raw edges on there.
So you're using a zigzag, and most machines have got a zigzag, haven't they? So it's something everyone can generally use.
Exactly.
But some machines do have specific overlocking stitches.
Yes, they do, yeah.
That basically do the same thing as this. They wrap that raw edge.
Yes.
And that's just going to protect it.
Exactly, yeah. And on those machines, you'll probably get a specific foot to use as well.
Right.
With that stitch, which makes it a little bit easier, to be honest. But this is doing exactly the same job.
And we're going to do this all the way around?
Yeah, all the way around, yeah. Makes it nice and secure, and you can throw it around and wash it or anything. It makes sure that all the fabric's staying where it needs to be, basically. Okay. Okay, so I've finished doing my zigzag all the way around. I'm just going to turn this inside out.
Okay, I'll grab the insert while you do that then.
Lovely.
So I've just got a standard polyfill cushion pad.
Yep, perfect. And what's good to do as well, just to get those corners all the way out, use a point turner.
Oh, right.
Or a knitting needle is quite good for this as well. So
anything blunt, really.
Exactly, yeah. So get those points nicely turned round. And then we can put it on our cushion.
We get a nice crisp finish that way. I
Definitely.
think the linen's really great because you do get that nice professional crisp look from
definitely. It looks like it's shop bought.
Yes.
But better than shop bought.
Oh, of course, because this is unique.
Exactly.
And that's why I really like it, because no one else is going to have anything like this.
Exactly.
It's personalised.
Yep. Definitely.
And I know you can get personalised things, but you pay so much money for them, and it's so much nicer. You can do it yourself,
Yeah.
and not just
And
order
see
that.
every stage of it being completed as well is really effective.
I'll
really
slide
nice.
that inside. So the envelope closure is great here because it's just so simple to put in one side.
It makes it easy to make as well with that simplicity of the construction.
Yeah, no zip closures or anything.
It means anyone can make one really. Kids can make them themselves. It makes an ideal present for someone, especially with that personalisation as well.
There we go.
Brilliant, look at it. It's great.
It looks fantastic, doesn't it?
It does.
And
yeah.
I think that's going to make a brilliant present because what else could you ask for? I mean, it's
Completely
personalised.
unique. There's nothing like it.
I know. I can't wait for my daughter to see her picture as an embroidery. She's going to love it.
Definitely.